CBT Self-Help for Anxiety from getselfhelp.co.uk. The vicious cycle of anxiety. However our anxiety first starts, maybe there's a triggering event, maybe there is something in the past that has made us more susceptible to this anxiety. But now we might feel some trigger, whatever that is. Maybe it's a situation or a feeling or a thought. But the thoughts that make us feel anxious are invariably, something bad is going to happen and I'm not going to be able to cope. Very future focused, and we tend to imagine the worst possible case scenario happening. We overestimate the risk, we underestimate our ability to cope. Focus of attention gets taken up with this danger. So the body's alarm system is activated. We feel anxious, frightened, scared, terrified. The adrenaline gets secreted throughout our body immediately. So we feel all these really uncomfortable feelings happening in our body, which is a normal response to danger. But in this situation, perhaps our brain has misinterpreted the things, and so we're feeling the effects of this when we really don't need it. But if we're thinking those thoughts and believe those thoughts, we are going to feel these horrible feelings of anxiety. And if we're thinking and feeling these, then we're going to want to get rid of them. We're going to want to avoid situations which might trigger anxiety, or we're going to try and escape the situation if we find ourselves out in it. So if we avoid, we might find that we just don't want to go out. We don't go to those situations where we're likely to feel anxious. We might make excuses about not going. Or you might plan to leave early, or just leave early when you're there to get away from these horrible feelings. And we might adopt what we call safety behaviours, like sitting in a corner or hiding or planning an escape route or drinking more or whatever it is. But if we keep avoiding and escaping these situations, we're never going to find out that worst case scenario isn't going to happen and that actually things would be all right. So this vicious cycle continues because our thoughts never change. We never test them out. So they keep going. So we get caught up in this vicious cycle of anxiety. With CBT, we can learn to break the cycle. We can learn to think differently and behave or do differently. So we can learn stop skill. We can learn to challenge our thoughts. We can learn not to believe everything our mind says. We can learn not to pay so much attention to our thoughts and to shift our focus. And we can learn skills that will help us do those things. We can learn to do differently, to change the way we behave. And we might start by making a plan to gradually do things that we normally avoid doing. So you can start small and gradually build up. We can learn to stick with it when in those situations, and we'll find out that the anxiety does reduce and eventually go away. We can learn to use coping skills. We can learn to do mindful activity as a way of helping focus our minds. And if we're thinking and doing things differently, then we're going to feel a lot less anxious, much more composed and calmer. And we will find out that every time that we do it, the anxiety reduces. So visit the webpage www.get.gg/anxiety.htm. Follow the steps on that webpage or click on the name of the anxiety disorder if you have a name for yours. You can download and print the worksheets and download the guided self-help MP3s from that page too. So visit www.getselfhelp.co.uk